We are live.
Okay. When I see it, I'll hit the button. Okay. Ew.
There we go.
Okay. All right.
You can see we are live now.
No, not yet. Let me see.
There we go. Right. We are live.
Okay. Uh, and this is the last one I see is the 17th. Oh, there it is. Is that it? No, that's just a commercial. Why don't you just send me the link and then I'll just do it? 'Cause I'm not seeing it.
All right. Shall we?
Okay.
Hello, people. Good evening, wherever you are. This is Sunshine Silas on the Sunshine Silas Show, all the way from Nigeria, the giant of Africa. What a pleasure it is to join you on this beautiful Friday night. Thank God it's the Sunshine Silas Show. I am pleased and delighted to bring to you a very, very beautiful, intelligent, wonderful lady doing something really phenomenal, impacting her community and the world at large. I'm talking about none other than the very special Monique AJ Smith on the Sunshine Silas Show. Welcome, Monique, and how are you?
Thank you, Silas. I'm doing well on a Friday night.
Yes, good to see you. How was Friday?
Yeah, it's going well in Virginia.
Yes, and how is Virginia this evening?
Well, I think we're finally getting a piece of fall
Wow, that's good to hear. You've welcome to the Sunshine Silas Show. What a pleasure to have you join us tonight.
in Nigeria. This is exciting.
We bring you greetings from Nigeria.
Wow.
All right, Monique. So, on this note, with lots of laughter, with lots of smiles, we start the Sunshine Silas Show with our very special guest for tonight, Monique AJ Smith. So, Mrs. Monique, let me start off on this note. Let's talk about who you are. You are an accomplished sports management professional of over 30 years experience with a 13-year tenure as an athletic conference executive for the historic Central Intelligence Athletic Association. You have served in various athletic administrative roles on various campuses from St. Paul's College and the University of Maryland Eastern Shore within a 10-year period. Also, you are a member of the adjunct faculty at Old Dominion University. So impressive. In Norfolk, Virginia, and currently serving in Hampton University as an adjunct teaching sports management courses. Your credentials are just too impressive. But before we dive into your work and all of these credentials, please, who is Monique AJ Smith beyond all of the credentials and the accolades? Let's get to know you personally.
I am the daughter of two educators in Sussex
Wow.
County, Virginia. And I am the wife of Thomas Smith, who is a Newport News native, who I met on the campus of Hampton University over 30 years ago.
Wow.
And so I am a lifelong learner. That's the polite way. I usually joke and say I'm a nerd. I'm an only child, so books were my best friend. And so that's how I believe in learning to be able to serve for others. And that's why I call my company called Seeds of Empowerment, because I choose to be others to greatness.
Wow, impressive. You are a mother, you are a wife, you are a lifelong learner doing incredible things, and you are also the CEO of Seeds of Empowerment Limited. I'm curious, what inspired you to start the Seeds of Empowerment? I mean, what's the vision and the mission statement of the Seeds of Empowerment Company?
Well, it really came about because I just mentioned about reading books and
Hmm.
being a pioneer or a trailblazer or a first, however you want to call it. You have many people that ask you for advice. And so that's always been my way of trying to sharing information to others to let them go where they want to go. You don't have to follow me. You decide your own destination, but I can help you your pathway there. And so, again, I'm from the country, and seeds to me are reads. And so books are read. So I really believe when I give you the book, you gain ownership of what I've been trying to say. So Seeds of Empowerment is really what I've been doing for 30 years, just trying to guide folks, but not as telling what they should do, but help them have ownership of their own journey.
Wow. You looking at your resume, you have a lot of history and experience in athletics and administration at the college and university level. You've done a lot of programs that has to do with athletics, and you're helping a lot of people at the college and university level in administrative programs that have to do with athletics. What inspired you to go into athletics? How did you develop this love and passion for everything athletics? Because that seems to be a whole lot of what you're doing.
Well, it really is. I'm a leader at heart. For some particular reason, everybody's gravitated me when I was a kid. So I was SJ
Mm,
president in high school, and I kept scores in the eighth grade. And I like to promote. So I was a writer. I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to be maybe the person from USA Today to cover HBCU sports. It was, you know what? It didn't care what it was. I just wanted to promote.
mm,
I interned at BET when I was in college. I worked in television station and promotions, a PR planning events and promoting people. It didn't matter. Well, it just so happens my first internship was the CIAA, which stands for Central Intercollegiate, not the CIA for intelligence. You
I almost thought about that.
no, it's CIAA. It has two A's. And so I was a sophomore in college, and I learned how to promote athletics events. So it took off from there. Again, I was the only female. It was three guys and myself. And that was my sophomore year. My junior year, I started working in sports information at Hampton University. And then upon my graduation, almost all the sports information directors were like, you need to go take this job in Lawrenceville, Virginia with Jeanette A. Lee. And she was the first time AD and the only first female athletic director in the CIAA. And they said, you need to go down there, get ready, you're prepared. And I'm like, I said, but you know what? I'm going to take that job versus going in television or being a PR person for a whole college in Mississippi because I have great support from the other sports information directors. So it became, and then when I started doing the work, then I saw the students. And so my mission or purpose of just not promoting to promoting, I'm promoting a person that is seeking education and helping them build their own self-esteem based on their ability.
Mm,
And that gave me that just like wow. But you fast forward being in a conference office and working with other individuals on other college campuses, professional development, personal development just became a natural um, thing for me because I was always again teaching, advising, and so that's what led to the company because now what I've done for a small region of individuals, I could do nationally.
Well, Monique, please, as we progress on the show, I'd like you to lean a bit forward towards the microphone. I'm getting some feedback from our audience on Facebook. They need to hear you more clearly. So you said you started off with passion and you ended up with a career. And not just a career, but a wonderful career that have helped you to make significant impact and contribution to your community. And you have over 30 years experience as a professional sports manager. You've done an incredible job for a lot of people. I want you to take us on this journey. You still have the passion, you still have the drive. But so far in this amazing 30 years of professional sports management, what are some of the most inspiring and wonderful moments you have enjoyed on this journey?
Wow. So one of the first ones, it was as a sports information director. When you come up with a slogan out your own head, one of my students, his name was Antoine Smith, and he was the CIAA Rookie of the Year and ended up being the Player of the Year for 4 years. And so, as a sports information director, I tried to promote out through the years. So when the ballot comes, that's the name that you remember. That's the one you're gonna vote for. So I created this slogan, Magic Twine, because they call him Twine because his name is Antoine. So I put him in a tuxedo, and I got a wand, and I took a picture, and that was our. I put it on our schedule card, and that was how we promoted him. And again, I told you he made all CLA 4 years, but that's not it. The child put a tattoo on his arm called Magic Twine. So something comes out your head and somebody embraces it and puts it on their body. I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay. So then you fast forward, being associate commission for the CIAA. I brought bowling to the conference office. Yes, bowling is a collegiate sport. I had the pleasure of serving as a supervisor for bowling at UMES. And so when my first year at the CIAA, the commissioner said, I would like to bring on another women's sport. I said, well, I got experience with this bowling. So he said, well, you got to convince the presidents of all the universities in the conference. And I was able to do so. And we had a team play in the NCAA National Championship. And lastly, what brings me the most joy are seeing women that I have been able to impact take the role as athletic director on colleges and universities across the country. And that to me, that's what I say planting seeds. That's my garden. Those are my blooming leaders. And that that gives me much, much, much joy because when I started, it was very few of us. And it's not okay just to be, you don't have any control over being the first, but you do have some control over being staying the only.
Simply beautiful. Like you said, planting seeds, and I love the way you put it. Blooming leaders. You may not have to be the first, but you can try to be the only. I also know that you cannot have the rainbow without both the sunshine and the rain. You've had some incredibly amazing moments in this journey. Can you share with us, have there ever been periods along your journey that you felt so discouraged you almost quit? What were those moments and why did it happen that way?
Well, I'm gonna be very transparent. Um, my first my first bout as an athletic director was joyous, exciting, but not everyone was excited for me in my household.
Mm.
And so I became divorced in the middle of, I was 28 years old. So again, really young, given the role as athletic director at a small town in Virginia. And everybody wasn't excited for me. And so that I actually kind of gave up the role to go find peace of mind. Because and that's why I have this thing about, you climb the mountain straight up and you have no opportunity to try to experience all 4 seasons. So I would say spiral up so that you can have a life. as you achieve, and integrate your family into what you're doing. And I'm blessed to now to be married to my college sweetheart, who actually saw me doing what I'm doing now in college, and he was a football player and I was sports information. And he is always, he is the guardian of my mind, of keeping me in a sense of, you can do this. And so that's been a down moment, but then an up moment, because it been an opportunity for who was supposed to be in my life at that moment. And then, just to be honest with you, I was let go with the CIAA. And I believe people, people will try to sugarcoat it. You made decision to leave. No, I was fired. It's like anything else. You have a bank and the bank merges. You're not going to have two managers. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
And so
That's
when
true.
people come in, they have an opportunity to bring in the people they need to bring in to carry out their vision. Have been there 13 years. We're quite successful. And I have been with the commission of 22 years. I have been with him for 13 of the 22. So they won't change, they want different. They got to make change, and they got to make different, which is no reflected upon my role. You can't take it personally. So that was another curve up my mountain, you know. And I would say that to me has been a blessing, because now I've been my 6th year having my business, my consulting full time. I've always been a consultant on different topics since 2005, but now I'm able to control my time. And again, I'm an adjunct at Hampton University, which brings me joy because of my connections. I can actually help the next generation of athletic administrators go to the next. And last year we went to the NFL Career Forum. That was fantastic. It exposed my students to my connections. And then I had the pleasure of working with the legendary Boo Williams, and his Boo Williams Summer League. And so I kind of helped with the marketing of that using my students. So this is it's a great life.
Wow, it's a great life. And just listening to you share those words with me, it reminds me of those beautiful words of my mother said, rest when you're tired, but don't quit. And that's just what you did. You had to take some time out, get some rest, but you were still in the game. You came back stronger, you came back better, and here you are today still doing these amazing things in the community. And I want to take you on something that you said. You talked about blooming, there's new leaders, and you talked about you used the word a garden. I love that because I know that you are the host of a nationally acclaimed podcast in the United States that's called A Chat in the Garden with Monique AJ Smith. You've had very, very insightful podcasts on that platform. And there is one of them that struck out to me as a person, and I just want to take you up on that because I'm curious. You had a podcast on this topic, how to be a successful athleticpreneur. Now, for me, and I believe for most of my audience, that's a new word. So I want to take you up on that before we talk about the whole Chat in the Garden podcast. Tell us, what exactly do you mean by athleticpreneur? And is that a business word? Please, please, please just shed some more light on that. Let's get to know who is an athleticpreneur.
I am an athleticpreneur because I have combined athletics with entrepreneurship. And so, but there's been around how many? If I turn my screen around, you're going to see a lot of books. How many books do coaches write? Athletic directors write. Those are consultants. Those are people who take their niche and go into the marketplace. And so I have actually a program called the Speakers Bureau, where I assist my colleagues to be able to find their niche and take it into the marketplace. They're almost, I mean, it could be if you were a coach, what's the best play that you have that upon retirement you don't mind sharing? And that goes so many different formats that you can do that to share. you know. And so from my athletic administrative standpoint, I got clients now. I have one young lady who does risk management for, you know, when you have an event and you
Yeah.
have outside people helping you with the event, but they have not been trained to deal with outside entities. You know, you
Mm.
follow me, and how to, you know, how will we ingress and regress if something should occur, you know. And so that's an individual. I had a young lady who did sickle cell education. That's an athleticpreneur. Okay, the sickle cell is a disease, but how does it affect in athletics? And how can you have a young person? Excuse me, I don't know why my household phone is ringing. Has a situation where the young person doesn't want to take the test because they're afraid it might not be to play. How can we get them to see that if you express what your needs are, then you can go to a place that's going to meet that need?
Mm.
So again, these are individuals that have been a part of my speakers bureau, because I have a couple of programs I do to try to guide people into my in the path, again, planting those seeds. And the other one is Advanced Academy, where I help individuals get to their next or their first position in athletic administration. The first thing is mind work, head work, you know. And again, if I had stayed bitter off of those two situations that I shared with you, I would never get better. And so because I've gone through those paths for 30 years, and the 30 years started when I was an intern. So therefore I got some, I can tell you some pitfalls how to avoid. Now some things you got to go through so that you can get stronger.
Mm.
But I need to tell you that so you can keep on going and not just stop. Because growth hurts. Growth is uncomfortable. And if you want to advance, you got to get ready. Get ready for that.
Deeply profound words there, Monica. Growth is uncomfortable, growth hurts, but growth is absolutely necessary. You also said something that I really love, and you were talking about if you know what your needs are, then you will find a way to get to where those needs can be met. And for members of the international audience who are interested in athletics or presently having projects or programs in athletics, how does the seed or how can the Seeds of Empowerment organization help them in athletics premium, like you said?
Well, all of my training is virtual. Just like this one
Beautiful.
right here. I meet with them for 60 minutes and assist them with that. And then for those who want to get their first position in athletic administration, I have a mastermind that meets every third Sunday, just like this, virtually. And for the athleticpreneur, I do try to help you meet the marketplace because again, with my connections from the entrepreneur world and in the athletic world, people always ask me, do you know someone that can speak on this topic? Do you know someone that can speak on this topic? And I too, I go and travel and do leadership training for athletic departments. I do staff retreats and I do student athlete workshops on leadership. But there might be someone asking me about, do you do sexual harassment training? And no, I do not. But I have someone in the Speakers Bureau who does.
I love it. Just the way you network and you connect other people to step into their greatness. But let's back up a bit and let's talk about a chat in the garden with Monique A.J. Smith. You have this podcast that have become a nationally acclaimed podcast, like I said earlier, in the United States, doing significantly impressive. Now, I want to ask you, how did you come about the idea for a chat in the garden? What inspired you, and what has been the impact so far from your perspective that a chat in the garden with Monique A.J. Smith has had with the local community?
Well, I'm excited because just this today's the 18th. Yesterday, we reached 1.5K members in the group.
Woo! Congratulations! That's beautiful.
So it all came
That's
about.
good news.
Thank you. I had a publicist, okay, and because again, I was always an entrepreneur consultant. And she said she had another client who wanted to um, win the Guinness Book World Record of having the longest podcast. And she
Ooh.
said, would you mind helping us with that? And I said, sure. She said, do you want to be a guest or do you want to be a host? And I said, I have control issues. I will be the host.
I like that.
Yeah. But honestly, that was my undergrad degree was mass media for Hampton University. So I had some experience with radio and I knew how to do my own rundown sheet. And so I didn't have any trepidations with that. And so I did. And the young man, I don't know if he ever did break the record, but my publicist said, you're really good at that. You're a natural. And I said, thank you. And so she said, I have another entity called Survival Radio Network, and you can use your platform and you only have 1 hour. And I said, sure, that's great because I already had Seeds of Empowerment. Okay. So again, Seeds of Empowerment, and seeds are planted. They do what? They grow, they create a garden.
Mm.
And so I always said that I was planting seeds to lead others to greatness, which becomes a garden. So that's why I said chat in the garden. And I wanted other
Mm.
to see the pathway of other African American female athletic administrators. Because of all the spaces that I'm in, it will always be a very few women that'll always be on a panel. And I'm like, there's a lot more women out here who look like me and doing great things. Let me highlight. Now, funny thing, the engineer was like, well, if you want, because when I first show, the first month, it was only athletic directors, female African American athletic. And he just felt it was going to be 1 month. I said, watch. We started in August. We went all the way, I want to say, to March with female athletic directors. And he was impressed. Look, it's 6 years later, and he only wants to do my show. He won't let any other engineer do my show because he wants to meet these phenomenal women. And so we talk about the career path, the advice for others, and the current initiatives. So, since 6 years ago, we have talked about female African American strength and conditioning coaches. We branched off to women working in the NFL. I mean,
Mm.
almost every area that you can think of that you a female is doing that. Yes, it is. And so it is really inspiring. I had a couple of things that happened. One young lady took off to become a motherhood. And she said by listening
Mm.
to the podcast, it gave her hope that she could get back on the ramp. And now she's athletic director, no, a senior associate athletic director at IUPUI. Okay.
Wow.
She got back on the ramp on a high level. You see what I'm saying? It's all about the mindset. When you can see it, you know you can be it. And so imagine all of these sports management managers out here, young ladies who don't know what, can I do this? This is what this is for. I mean, this is for,
Mm.
you have any advice for me? I said, my advice is listen to the podcast. You need to join the group, put replay inside the Facebook group, and listen to all the replays. And every year, every June, I highlight the number one show with an award called oh my God, I just forgot. Um, the Deb Award, named after
Mm.
Deborah in the Bible, because she holds court in the garden under a tree.
Yes, that's true.
Deborah in
That's
the
true.
Bible. And so people come to the garden and get advice, do they not? And so therefore,
Mm.
this person is given the Deb Award, and we've done that 4 times, and it's really a great celebratory moment. In the private Facebook group, see, I didn't even know about the Facebook group. The guy said when you do this podcast, you must have a Facebook group. I just did what he told me to do. I was already going out to university workshops. I was doing that, and then I added this, and so it all comes. You just be surprised. I just came from a conference last week. Women leaders in college sports. I'm sitting down having tea. Hey, oh my God, it's you! I'm like, These are all young girls, all young women in the business, okay? And it has really, again, that's what brings me joy.
So beautiful. I'm so excited for you. And at the same time, I'm just jealous. I mean, you have this beautiful, wonderful community and you just restrict it to women alone. But you should have something for the men, you know.
I do. They can always advertise. I got 30-second spots for you.
Mm, fair enough, fair enough. All right, from a child in the garden, planting seeds of greatness via the conversations that you have with the people who are members of your group. You've shared the amazing testimonies, incredible things happening via this nationally acclaimed podcast from a full-time housewife to become a senior director in athletics department. Incredible stories. Now let's move forward, Monique. Let's talk about seeds of empowerment. Now, I want you to share with us what inspired you to start the Seeds of Empowerment, because you have something incredibly beautiful, a Chat in the Garden podcast, and you now move either not higher to Seeds of Empowerment. The first thing that I asked was, the first question I asked was, why Seeds of Empowerment? Why not Fruit of Empowerment? Why did you choose the word seeds? And for you, what has been the significance and the impact that the Seeds of Empowerment have had in the community?
Well, seeds to me are reads, and reads are books. And so learning to grow.
Learning to grow.
And it's more than being a mentor. It's more than being a sponsor. It's
Mm,
about helping you get ownership of your path. You know, today's you have a lot of learning to do as it relates to taking ownership because they're used to people feeding them. You know, it's as simple as you ask a young person to go do something. Do you know where it is? No, you got to go look for it. So it's the same way about you having an ownership of your path. And so I've always done that. I've always said, you need to read this book and then tell me what you think. You need to, again, both my parents were school teachers. So it comes to me very naturally to be one to lead others. It's for me, it's to lead them where they want to go. And that's how, I mean, even from a conference office standpoint, it the themes that I would do for the athletic banquets, you know, I would have Earth, Wind, and Fire in my head, and I would come up with Reaching for the Sky, you know, and
mm,
I'll have just something that I think would plant into their minds. So when they, during the year, they have something that kind of like clicks on, you know, and I honestly, it's like a ministry to me because I know that if you don't have some kind of self, if you always look for the outside for affirmation, for the outside for information, you're not guiding your own ship. And I have another entity called Lead Your Ship. Lead Your Ship. Those are the kind of activities that I do. And I'm a firm, I mean, leadership has always been me. And so I'm gonna tell you, women who have always inspired me have been women in leadership roles.
mm.
And so I said, how can I do that in my sphere? So Seeds of Empowerment just came about because honestly, that's what I've been doing. And I just think about garden and I grew up in the country. All right. There are trees everywhere. Actually, trees sent me to college. My father cut down the trees and used it to pay for my tuition. So again, all of that goes back. I'm really about visionary of seeing something. And so that's why I started that. And my workshops, the leadership type workshops. And so if I read a book, I can create a workshop that's interactive. You know, I even took Phil Jackson's book for 11 Rings and called it Trying on Phil Jackson's Rings.
Mm.
You know, people want to feel that they're attached to a champion. You know, I take
That's true.
and teach it for athletic administration. So again, so that you can, I tell you something. I took the 4 agreements and created a workshop called "Hit a Wall, Create a Door." Hit a wall, create a door. So when you have an obstacle, you got an option. You can just stand there, so I can't go any further, fixed mindset, because there's a door there. Or you can go and create a door, become creative, come and create solutions to get to where you want to be.
Wow, just beautiful. When you meet a wall, create a hole. Don't stop there. I know that every success story has its own challenges. I mean, it's even common in nature. Before the rain comes the thunder. And looking at you now and seeing all these incredible accomplishments and inspiring success that you've achieved over the years, I am mostly certain that there have been times on your journey to success that you've had very devastating challenges. And so I'd like you to share some of those moments with us so that members of the audience can really see what kind of persistence, consistency, and tenacity it takes to become an enviable success. So in over 30 years as a professional sports manager doing incredible things, what has been some of the greatest challenges you faced? And what stopped you from quitting?
Well, I'm going to give you two entities. First, I'm going to talk about being the first.
Being the
The
first.
only female sports information director in the early 90s. I was the first female SID of the year for the CIAA. But I never let that stop me. I was telling one of my students the other day, yes, I faced some sexism and some, I can't say harassment per se, just some inappropriate behaviors. But as Michelle Obama would say, when they go low, I go high. And I had a way of acting as if you didn't get my goat because I didn't expose my goat out. You follow me? So I was telling my student, like all of the male SIDs would go meet in the hotel room after a game or after the tournament, right? And they were all drinking cognac. So I asked him, "What do you think I did?" He said, "Go to your own room." I said, "No, I went to the room because I didn't want to miss out on the camaraderie, all right, and the opportunity for another opportunity. Like when you have a conference championship, you have postseason, and usually somebody will host, and then they call and say, 'Look, do you want to come down and help, run the tournament?'" So you have to be approachable for that ask. So I always took a student with me, and I always had my Pepsi with me. I was always going to be present. Okay. But then when I started serving on NCAA committees, I would be the youngest and probably the only black female. I would do the same thing. When I thought that they thought they were getting my goat, I didn't let my goat out. I was like, I would really act like it just went over my head, and then go straight, and I'd be the most read person in the committee meeting. I would know exactly what I wanted to have the outcome before I went to the meeting. And if I needed to, I had a meeting with somebody else to get them to present what it is I needed to push forward for my agenda. So you had to be real strategic in how you think. And again, I've always had those walls. I creatively figured out how to create a door of opportunity to get to where I wanted to get to. And then on the entrepreneur side, entrepreneurship is really like invention. So when you do something really neat, somebody else is going to build upon it. You can't get upset because that's the nature of entrepreneurship. It's a science and a little art to it, And so you do something and see if it works. If it doesn't work, you try something else. You follow me? And so for me, I didn't know what I didn't know in entrepreneurship. I'm an educator turned entrepreneur. Okay. So I had to kind of get a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset in that area. And so when someone, and this has happened, which I'm fine with that, there have been other branches off of women of color in athletics in different pockets. Okay. And that's fine. I know they serve a certain audience and I serve a certain audience. Right. But every time, like, and someone had a reception, the same time I had a reception. What I do, I start having vendors at my reception. We had a book signing. So not only do you get a chance to greet the person who gave the award to, then you get a chance to meet somebody who wrote a book. Then you buy the book. You they're growing.
Just beautiful. You said some things that really resonated with me. You talked about strategically thinking, and you also talked about that entrepreneurship is more like an invention. And you said it is a science and also it is an art. Really, what's on marble? Monique, let me look at it from this angle. Going through life and evolving into the success that you are now, what experiences and advice most significantly shaped you into the person that you are? You know, sometimes you ask people about their success stories, what inspired them the most. They'll tell you, hey, I read this book, I read that book, or I met with this mentor and all of that. For you, what experiences or what advice did you receive that you would say you would attribute 70% of your success story to that?
Well, when I tell my clients, when I do my staff retreats for coaches and athletic directors, I ask this question: what do you learn? When do you learn the most from your
Mm,
wins or your losses? So I ask you that question. When do you learn the most about
that's deep.
yourself? Huh?
Mm,
So when do you
that's
learn the
deep.
most? So what now?
That's a deep question. That's
Oh
very
yeah, yeah.
deep.
No, I'm asking you. I'm asking you. I'm looking for. I'm waiting for an answer. What's the answer?
I learn most from my failures. My failures have taught me some of the greatest lessons I've learned in life.
Now, words have power. Words have power. Okay. So they're not failures. They're not
Mm,
losses. They're learnings.
mm, I like that.
So what did you learn about yourself? What did you learn about your teammates? All right. And what did you learn about your opponents? So that you can attack that differently next time you see that. So that's what I learned. That's how, honestly, when I look upon the times with my lowest, people show you who they are. And you can go
Mm,
like, okay, all right.
I clap for you right there. I clap for you right there.
And mind you, you will see it again. You will have an opportunity to show what you learned, you know. And I practice this of getting better instead of better. Because you can sit
Mm,
there and talk about it and complain about it and what they did and da 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 da. People are only dealing with you from their perspective, from their experiences. It really is. If you take it personal, no matter who was in that position, who was the host of a chat in the garden, it does not make a difference. They don't. They look at you from a reflection of where they are, and all you can do is pray for them and keep on going. But you gotta keep on going, because otherwise, you will be sitting there talking about that, and that has surpassed you.
I, I really wish I could play these words back on replay. You said some really amazing things that I'm sure members of the audience, participants tuned in right now are going to remember that for a lifetime. You said, when you are at your lowest, people show you who really
Oh yeah,
they
oh
are. And you said, don't get bitter, get better. That reminds me, as a John Maxwell certified leadership coach and trainer, John Maxwell always said, and I think he wrote a classic on that. He said, sometimes you win, and sometimes you learn. So you reiterated that. You said words are powerful. We should not look at them as failures, but we should frame them as learning experiences. Oh, thank you so much, Monique. Those are very powerful words, very deep words. And I remember you said, what do you learn from the most? Do you learn from your success stories, or do you learn from, in quotes, your learning moments instead of your failure moments? Let's move on now, Monique. Can you tell us what are some of your visions for the next 5 years for the seeds of empowerment? Are you looking at going internationally? Do you have international collaborations? Share with us. So for members of the audience who are probably anticipating, connecting with you and taking on their entrepreneurial career a step further. How can they connect?
Well, let me just say two things. First, I want to say my first job was at St. Paul's College, and I had the pleasure to work with a prince from Nigeria,
Really?
Sunday Adejuwe.
Sunday Adejue. That name rings a bell. Are you serious? Woo!
Right?
That's one for the home, guys. That's one for the home. Tell me about this incredible project.
Well, he actually was a chairperson in the sciences at St. Paul's College, a small college in Virginia. And so I met him my very first year, and he always was a champion of mine. And he actually served as the faculty athletic rep, which is a part of athletics. And so he was, again, so when you said Nigeria, that was my first experience of having a connection with someone that
From
I,
Nigeria.
you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so I wanted to shout that out. And I'm definitely going to make sure that he sees this. But I do have, I'm a part of an anthology with a group of women. It's called Taking Off the Face. And
Mm.
I wrote a chapter about taking off the face for the professional. All right, for the professional. And so you kind of talked about my down moments. And so when the book talks about how I didn't navigate it from a counseling part. And so today's world in athletics, we are really opening our minds up to mental health. All right. Not mental illness, but mental health. And so athletics is a very competitive arena, both inside the playing field and outside the playing field. And as a female, it is you are always looked at, and you don't know how to navigate. Like you said, I like what you said. You gotta be able to rest, but just don't give up. But we don't rest. See, that's the problem. So depression for the high achiever looks different than a person who is not on the limelight. Okay. And so I learned that the hard way because I knew the people were looking at me. I knew other people wanted to follow me. And I didn't know that I needed to have someone to talk to. And so my first boss was a legend, and she died after 1 year of me working with her. I never had anybody close to me to die. So I did not know how to process that. So what did I do? I threw myself into my work, in my mind to prove to her who's not here that I'm going to keep your name alive. Okay. And so the second time, I was so grateful to individual for giving me a job back in the conference office to be able, because I'm single and I'm trying to, make my way. And I'm so appreciative that I don't even say I cannot do. I am overwhelmed. Okay. I don't voice that. I don't set my own boundaries. And so guess what? I hit a brick wall, literally and figuratively. All right. And so that's when I said, okay, I need to talk to someone. And so I know I can tell when if I'm talking to another client and I'm telling that your behaviors, you're not speaking up, you're doing things to fill a void. Those are the things based on my experiences I know. So I'm not trying to be a counselor. I do have a media partner, a sponsor, who we're going to do a book tour starting in January of my chapter
Yeah.
for, because again, people don't realize you got to, and I'm glad now the soil is ready.
Mm. The soil is ready.
For high achievers, okay? Because guess what?
Yeah.
It becomes a physical health issue if you don't deal with the mental health.
Mm. It becomes a physical health issue if you don't deal with the mental health. Powerful words there from Monique. And when you were giving an answer to this, you actually took the words right out of my very next question. It was like you were reading my script because quite honestly, I can't think of a more qualified person to ask this question than you. You have over 30 years experience. You are a professional and all of that. You're doing something really amazing and incredible. For those who are ready or willing to go into athletics, either as a professional sportsman or sportswoman, or into athletics as a career, what advice do you have for them? What are the red flags you think they should look out for? And where do you think they should start the journey of their career from? Maybe it's a tutor, an instructor who wants to go into athletics or wants to go into sports management. Where should they start from? Because you have the experience, you walk the walk and you are talking the talk. So give them some form of professional advice.
Well, I would say try your hand at some things. See, you know exactly what you see in your face. Most things people think it's coaching, all right? But you really need to know that there's academic advisor, there's a person in athletic development, helping with career choices with students. There's an athletic trainer. We're just talking about the
Mm,
mental health. That there's a strength and conditioning coach who, there's a lot of entities that come out. So I would say volunteer, be around it. Uh, I'm going to say read some books, because again, that's your way of virtually experiencing what a person goes through. Today,
mm,
uh, we have young people are playing sports at the third grade as if they're elite. All right. So that
mm.
says
Yeah, that's true.
and they're now what I'm excited about, I have just come into the circle of sports sociologists, people who look how society affects sports and sports affects society, and that's deep. I mean
It
that
is. It
I love it.
is.
So you see, it's always evolving. And what area, if I tell kids do an internship before you need to have a paycheck. So I'd say the
Please,
internship is
please,
unpaid.
can you say that again, please? We need to hear that again. Can you say that again?
You need to do an unpaid internship.
Hmm.
Unpaid internship. Because therefore you get a chance to experience it and see if you like it. I interned in television and I learned I didn't like that. You see? And so you got to be able to do something without ties to it to be able to feel as if this is going to work for me. And I would say go to conferences. I would say join. If you are come join the chat in the garden, because again, you hear the stories of other women in this business and what they've done. I got guys in my advanced academy. Okay, because the guy said, "I like you, Miss Monique, because you don't let me slide. You talk to me like my
Hmm.
mom." You know what I mean? Because he was talking to me about his actually he thought his success, and I said, "Well, how much money did you raise?" Well, I said, "No, how much money did you raise?" If you're gonna be in development, that's the first thing you should be able to say. I created a capital campaign. I raised this amount of money. Nobody cares about who you know, who you work with. I want to know what have you done, and then I'm going to ask you who you know, and I'm going to figure out who I know. Okay, what's their work ethic? So you need to be able to network with people. Beyond the internship, you need to network with people so people can speak about you when you are not in the room. That's really important because people, I need, because again, I might not work with you, but if you work with me, and I'm going to tell you, go ask so and so to tell so and so about you because I know who's connected. I can't speak on you because I haven't seen your work. Now, I know your thought process, and usually you better about something, and I'm going to work on that. And I just had a client yesterday. I said, "What's today's date?" She said the 17th. I said, "Name 17 things that you're grateful for."
Hmm.
I said, "You can't have a bad thought and a good thought in the same time. So you can't go to your next if you feel better."
Wow, I wish I could just keep this conversation going on and on and on because this it has been more like sitting in a business class with Monique A.J. Smith, you brought out some really profound points. He said, people don't care who you know. They're not interested until they know what you've done. Then when they know what you've done, they'll be more interested in asking you, who do you know? And you went further, you said, for young people aspiring to take on a career in athletics, more like entrepreneurship, you said, try to volunteer for an unpaid position. So you get to learn the experience before you now transition to being paid for it. And you went a step further to explain it. You said that you have to do something without having ties to it so you can understand how you feel for it. Now, these are just words on marble that anytime, any day, they're incredible business advice, not just for someone going into athletics, but I believe this ones hold true for anyone going into any area of life. Miss Monique, we would love to go on and on and on and on with you on the Sunshine Silence Show. You've been really exciting. It's been a thrilling experience with you. I want to ask you a final question just before we'll let you off the hook. So for members of the audience tonight, you have come a long way and you have achieved incredible things. But there are people who want to walk in your shoes. And this is what we believe about the Sunshine Silence Show. We are bringing ordinary people doing extraordinary things so that by their stories, they could inspire the greatness in our audience to discover who they are, to recover their opportunities, maximize their potentials, and live a life without limits. For the next 2 minutes, I want to leave you with our audience tonight. What words of inspiration, what personal advice do you have for them out there, regardless of what area of business they are into, aspiring to become successful, like you someday to become someone doing incredible, positive, significant things in the society? What's your final word for them?
I would say start your day off in devotion and ask the Lord to create in you a new heart and renew your right spirit. That's how I do every day so that you can have a clean slate every day. And you can find me on LinkedIn at Monique A.J. Smith. I would love to connect with you.
Wow, she couldn't have said it any better. Start your day with a devotion to God. Commit your ways to Him and ask Him to direct your path. I won't let you go on the Sunshine Silence Show without giving you an opportunity to tell our audience how they can connect with you. You want to give out your Facebook, your emails, you want to give out your social media channels. Please feel free. I know a lot of people are out there waiting to connect with you. So how best can they reach out to the CEO of Seeds of Empowerment so you can plant those seeds of empowerment in their lives?
Well, I really do like LinkedIn. It's Monique A.J. Smith. And then on Facebook, Monique A.J. Smith. And on Twitter, I am host of chat. On Twitter, I'm host of chat. And my email address is Monique A.J. Smith at seedsofempowerment.info. Again, Monique A.J. Smith at seedsofempowerment.info. Oh, shoot.
Hello, Facebook family. So there you have it. This is how we do on the Sunshine Silence Show. If you ask me, it's been an amazing, exciting experience having Miss Monique A.J. Smith, the CEO of Seeds of Empowerment, on the Sunshine Silence Show. Incredible, amazing, fantastic experience. So until we come your way again next time on the Sunshine Silas Show, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you do, this is my final word for you. Do not forget that you are the light of the world. You are the salt of the earth. Keep spreading your sunshine. Don't give up, don't give up, don't throw in the towel. Stick in there because the closer you are to your success, just one more step, you're going to hit it. I love you. Take good care of yourself. And from Sunshine Silas, Nigeria's #1 bounce back coach, it is bye-bye. See you and God bless you.